If, like us, your insurance renewal wasn't a pleasant read, here are some top tips for how you could save a bit of money. Let's be honest, it's a bit of a boring topic, but what's not boring is saving money. What you save in your insurance premium, you could spend on campsite fees, a new gadget, or even fuel to travel, so keep watching. Don't forget to check out our other videos on everything campervan and motorhome related, from solar to water, heating to gadgets, tyres to trips. If you like this video, please do hit the thumbs up, it really does help me to know what you like, and you can ask any questions or give feedback in the comments. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our future videos, please hit the subscribe button and clicking the bell will give you a notification when a new video goes live. Finally, if you do decide to hit the thumbs down, it would be great if you could also leave a comment so I know what you didn't like. Now I know that you never know how good an insurance company is until you have to make a claim. So it would be great to hear in the comments below what insurance company you use, and if you've had to make a claim, how you found that experience. But now let's take a look at what you can do when that inevitable renewal notice hits your doormat. The first and most important thing to do is don't renew without shopping around, or at absolute minimum talking to your existing company and trying to squeeze them on the prices. The optimum time to get a quote apparently is 4 to 6 weeks before your renewal date. The closer you leave it to the renewal date supposedly suggests you are a higher risk, and of course the companies think you have less time to make a considered decision, so the premium can be higher. When shopping around, remember not to limit yourself to comparison sites. There are insurance companies that don't appear on them, and it's also worth considering that price isn't everything. Take into account their customer service levels and customer feedback. Look for reviews of their service, pop their name into Facebook, X or web forums. Remembering that all companies will have some customers that feel they've had a poor experience, but if you're seeing lots of negative posts and no positive ones, then that could be quite telling. If you're insuring a self-build van, you are a little limited in the companies that you can use, but here are all the ones we're aware of, and the top 3 are ones that we have personally used. Depending on your vehicle, you may have to decide whether you insure it as a camper van or a van with listed modifications. We found it best to discuss with the company you're talking to, and it usually comes down to how many modifications you've made. But in most cases, we suspect campervan or motorhome is the way to go. When it comes to the body type your van is registered as, this shouldn't have an impact on how it is insured, although it does, in our experience, make it a little easier if you have been able to successfully re-register it as a motor caravan, as this often negates the need for sending photos to the insurance company to prove the level of the conversion. If your van meets the internal features required, then the insurance company should treat it as a motor caravan. If you're just starting your conversion or are mid-conversion, some of the companies will offer policies to cover this. Often these will have a minimum time period for when the conversion needs to be complete to a certain standard, so do bear that in mind. When it comes to the policy type, most will be looking for an annual policy, but there's now another option. If you rarely use your van and it's stored somewhere secure when not in use, you could look at only insuring it on a pay-as-you-go basis. Now, one thing to consider is taxing your van. The insurance does need to be in force at the point of taxing, and consider that your van would not be covered for theft or fire when the insurance isn't in force. When it comes to discussing your renewal, there are a few things you can look at potentially varying to save money. The first is your policy type, fully comp or third party fire and theft. I think most people will want to protect their van if they have an accident that's their own fault, but if your value of your van is low, you may choose to save money by choosing third party fire and theft rather than fully comp cover. How you use your van can also have an impact on your premium. Most are likely to be social, domestic and pleasure, but some may want to commute to work or even use it like us for business purposes. Different companies may be cheaper for different types of use. When we moved to business insurance, we chose to use a broker, in our case AIB, to find us the best policy that suited our needs. Having additional drivers on your van and access to additional vehicles that you can drive can be a benefit to your lowering your premium. If you add a driver that is lower risk and you have other vehicles in the household that you are insured to drive, you can find it makes quite a difference to your premium. Where you store your vehicle on a driveway, in a garage, on the street or away from home, and the anti-theft devices you have fitted can also help to reduce a premium. Obviously, it's important to be honest with all of these questions and be conscious of how the answers affect your cover when your van is not at its usual storage location. For example, most policies will expect you to be sleeping overnight in the van when it's not at the storage location. So a night at a hotel with your van parked outside may leave you not covered if it gets stolen. Membership of owners clubs and advanced driving qualifications can also demonstrate a lower risk, so make sure to declare all of these. I was surprised that some companies saw my motorcycle advanced driving test as a benefit even when the insurance was for a campervan. When it comes to valuing your van, if you don't have an agreed value policy, then this will always be what is determined as the market value. So be realistic with your proposed value, or you may push up your premium even though you wouldn't get back what you expect if the worst should happen. If you're travelling outside the UK, foreign cover is a consideration. What countries are covered and for what duration. Make sure it suits your needs and you're not paying for something that you don't need. When it comes to excess, always consider both the compulsory and voluntary when comparing policies. It's worth setting what you would be happy with and altering the voluntary excess to make the total excess consistent across your quotes. With most campervan policies, you get a certain level of contents cover for camping equipment and personal items. It's worth looking into if you need this and if the levels are what you expect. You may find you already have cover away from home for personal belongings on your house policy. Once you have confirmed that these would be covered in your campervan, you may be able to reduce the level of coverage on your campervan insurance. Your expected annual mileage is always worth refining. Take a look at your historic MOT mileages if you're not sure how much you will cover. It's pointless increasing your premium due to stating a significantly higher mileage than you are actually going to drive. Policies will often have extra cover available, like key cover, breakdown and legal cover, that you may or may not want. It's always worth shopping around for these if you want them, and considering separate policies. For example, we have separate key, breakdown and legal protection cover outside of our campervan policy that still covers our campervan. So there is no point paying for these twice, and it works out a lot cheaper than adding it to the policy.
So we hope that's given you some food for thought when it comes to renewal time for you. Remember, it's vital you are honest and open with your insurance company or brokers. You don't want to be paying for something and then end up not being covered. But there are decisions that you can make that may help to reduce your cost. Don't forget to let us know how you get on with different insurance companies in the comments, as real life experiences are really great for everyone to make a judgment on who are good and who aren't.
Thanks for watching our video, and as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please pop them in the comments below. If you find the video useful, please like, share and consider subscribing.